Hi everyone, my name is Louis and I am let's keep going. There we go. I'm a fellow here at the Applied Social Media Lab. I'm also a senior fellow at the Mozilla Foundation and a fellow at the Shorenstein Center just down the road. And I'm here to talk to you today about Picktop.
You are not on camera
yet. Do I have to stay there? Okay, cool. So I should stay in this area and not move. No moving. Okay, I'm quite a mover, so yeah. Camera is, where's the camera? Oh, there's a few. Okay, all right, we're good. So yeah, I'm here today to talk to you about Picktop, which is the top TikToks by country and month crowdsourced. So before I get into what this is exactly, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask everyone a question. Does anyone here know what the most viewed TikTok video of all time is? If you do, just stick up a hand. Anybody? No? Okay, so it's basically, and I only found this out about a month ago, it's a blank screen for 10 seconds. It's got about 3.2 billion views. And when I found this out, I was kind of like, okay, I'm building a product entirely based around what the most viewed content on TikTok is, and I didn't even know this fact. I found it in a newsletter. So, right, who cares about the top video being this blank screen? It's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is understanding for, let's say, the US, what are the top 10,000, 100,000 videos from the last week, from the last day even? So, or even let's see, okay, Indonesia for March. Indonesia is one of the biggest countries on TikTok. Do we know last month, which is no longer March, so that's an interesting thing for me to fix. Do we know what the stuff that people were consuming most in Indonesia for last month was? The answer is we don't. Same thing if we wanted to know for the whole of the US last year. So, and let's choose an arbitrary threshold here. Everything over 10 million views on TikTok. Do we have a sense of all of that content for all time? The answer is no. Now, this is really, really absurd because every single one of these videos has been collectively viewed by billions. All of these videos have been viewed by billions of eyeballs, right? So you've got so many people seeing these videos in their own For You page silos on TikTok, but this data is not brought together anywhere. If you're sitting in TikTok HQ, that's great. You can pull it up from the database nice and easy, but it doesn't exist for civil society. And that's a problem. It's a problem not just because we want to know about the latest trends, but it's a problem because TikTok is being used more and more for people to understand the world in serious ways. So if you look at 2020, you have about 3% of Americans who are going to TikTok for news. And in 2024, that figure goes to about 17%. You've got this rapid increase in how TikTok is being used to consume news about the world. So I really care about this. I've been obsessed with this problem for a couple of years. I've been asking a lot of people about it, and I haven't found any compelling solution until Picktop. Right, so what is Picktop? Picktop is about making a Nielsen ratings for social media. So in my view, it's kind of insane that there's no resource, no public resource that anyone can consult to understand, not just for TikTok, and I'm starting with TikTok, but for all these platforms, what is that stuff that is really going viral on a regular basis by country as well. So that's what Picktop is. It is basically a big leaderboard. It's a leaderboard of videos. It's a pretty simple concept. You can filter it by country, you can filter it by time. And the reason it exists is, sure, one of the reasons is pulling together a data set. I do want to make this data set exist. Now, that's not the only reason though. The second reason that I want to make this is that I believe we should be doing code as advocacy. I believe that we should be making the things that we think should exist in the world to embarrass platforms into taking action. The concept of platform transparency is a pretty dry one. It's pretty dry. It's pretty hard to realize what that means in practice. What does it mean if we demand transparency from big tech? I hope that by pulling together this kind of a leaderboard, I can bring it to people, I can bring it to policymakers, I can bring it to civil society and build a case so that TikTok provide this information themselves. And then the final reason I'm making it, and I'll talk a bit more about this gamified aspect of it, is that I want to make platform transparency fun. I want to engage a wide audience in this problem. I want to make it so that you want to go to this place because you want to submit videos, you want to see them in this leaderboard, you want to help bring this data set together. So yeah, there's this game side of Picktop, and I'm going to give you a bit of a demo of, or like a tour of the platform soon. But people, so there are kind of two types of users. But one of those groups, which we could call the players of Picktop, they can go on and submit videos, and they can submit these videos in many different ways. They can just stick them on the website. They can also share to Discord. And once they do that, they can win points for doing so. So let's say you put in a video with 40 million views, you can win yourself 40 points, and you can see yourself in the rankings, and you can win badges for finding certain videos. Let's say you find a video over 1 billion views. And you can also just own viral TikToks. You can have the pride of knowing that you're the first person to find any given video. So those are the players. And then there's another type of user, which is basically just viewers. Why would anyone go to TikTok? Why would anyone care about this product? For me, imagine you're a TikTok user in your For You page silo. You've got no read across to the different experiences that people are having on TikTok. You have no ability to understand in aggregate what's going on. You can't do any satisfying, let's say, TikTok tourism, where you go to different places and different times and understand what's going on there. So for people who use TikTok, I can see the utility there, and this is all to be tested. This is a very experimental product in the early stages. But then also for people who don't use TikTok, a lot of this is about giving visibility to, I don't know, like we've all got a grandparent who has no idea what TikTok is, who, you know, a parent probably who has no idea what TikTok is. And this is the kind of place you can consult. And I'm thinking actually about some of the older senators on committees who are, let's say, in the business of trying to regulate social media. Maybe they could just go to a place like this and understand what this platform is and does, what the largest outputs of it are. So there are lots of different ways that this data set could be pulled together. One of them is this crowdsourcing aspect, which is basically getting a lot of people to submit TikTok videos and then scraping on the back end, so just going and grabbing the metadata about those videos. One of the really nice things about TikTok is that the metadata includes what's like location created is the particular key. And this basically means that you can start putting stuff in buckets according to country, and that's really nice. But yeah, so crowdsourcing is only one part of it. To establish a baseline of data for TikTok, most viewed videos, I'll be needing to do a lot of scraping, and this is what I'm getting set up in the next few weeks. And what that means is setting up probably a bunch of different devices which are using TikTok's own search features, scraping all those search results, getting the metadata and putting them into place. And I know some folks who have done this. It gets kind of complicated, to be honest, because you need to do all sorts of things to do with intercepting the traffic from your device. But I'm kind of excited for that challenge. Yeah, and this is a big experiment. This is a real kind of like put it out in the world, see what happens. A big part of TikTok is going to be the marketing. So it's all very well building the thing, but especially if you're crowdsourcing data, there's not really much there unless you find a crowd. So hopefully I can get my nice crowd together. There are a few different channels, a few different marketing channels that I'm excited to test out. I'm a former startup guy, so I like doing this thing of trying out those channels, iterating with different users and seeing what the things are that really make people come back to this platform. So what does it look like? You can go to this, by the way, it's pik.top. You're welcome to go and sign up. It's in the very early stages. The stuff there is all pretty much placeholder data. But yeah, this is it here. You just sign up by email. Eventually, you'll be able to sign up by Discord as well. And there are a couple of different methods right now. So you can share links directly from the TikTok app to Discord server. So zero friction, hopefully. You don't have to go and pull a link across into this website, which is the old school method right there. And then you earn your points. You earn your points and your perks for doing all this activity and bringing together this data set. And I'm hoping that I can tap into a feeling of satisfaction at kind of owning, as I said, owning the viral TikToks that you find. This is the leaderboard. I haven't got the blank screen video here, just disclaimer. I have got this guy, Zach King, who you probably know is a massive TikToker. And then you basically have a couple of different views of the leaderboard. You have the person who found it, which, as you can see, I'm doing really well there. That's nice. Congratulations to me. And yeah, you have all these different filters, different countries. Yeah, like the TikTok is obviously big in the US, and there's obviously an entire debate about what's going to happen with it here. But it's also massive in many other countries. Indonesia is probably larger than the US in terms of the audience. And for me, I really want this product to resonate not just in the US. And so then you can win badges. This is my profile. Again, highly decorated. I'm doing so well. You can win badges for things like the first video you find from certain locations. Videos here, you have one for finding a video with a shark in it. Videos over certain thresholds. So all these cute little touches, I'm hoping can make this something that people want to interact with. So yeah, just to briefly talk about how it's made, it's pretty much just a Next.js app. It uses Next.js's own inbuilt kind of API stuff, the serverless functions. If it gets bigger, then it's going to need to abstract out the API stuff into a different stack. It's not going to be sustainable as part of Next.js. And yeah, the database is Postgres. It's like a Superbase database, which is Postgres based. Yeah, so basically from this point on, Picktop is going to be focusing on marketing, finish off the Discord integration, focus on marketing, test it with different channels, try and get people to use it in ways that are satisfying to them, understand why they use it, and take it from there. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if we have time for questions now, or we should do that later. Yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Cheers.